Good afternoon and welcome to the Sugarside podcast. I'm Garrett. I actually don't know what time it is for you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't care. Hi, I'm Garrett, and as always, I'm joined by my best friend, my beautiful friend, my handsome friend, my supportive friend.
Wow.
Yeah, a little less adjectives this time around, but I got you.
They're meaningful.
My buddy Trey. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. It's funny you mentioned that we don't know what time of day or night that people watch this. I wonder at what time we would be the most entertaining. I don't think I would listen to us in the morning.
I mean, I think that we're probably most entertaining half a bottle of whiskey deep. It doesn't matter if it's morning, afternoon, night. If you're a little buzzed, you probably like us.
Probably a lot better. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So no judgment. Whenever that happens to you or for you, I suppose is the time to listen to the Sugarside podcast. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, I suppose. But yeah, I'm good, man. Another week, just one of those things. I'm glad to be here. And it's been a busy week, but it's been a good week so far. I'm definitely looking forward to the holiday this weekend. And just being able to hang out with family and friends for sure.
I need to preface this conversation that me and you just got off of a hour-long phone call together about totally random other stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, we need to film the podcast.
Yeah. I feel like we should just start a second podcast that is our phone calls before the Sugarside podcast and make their own episodes, because we end up talking for the same amount of time as a podcast episode, and then we do a podcast episode almost every time. Let me just
say that those phone calls would be demonetized, reported. I would be put on a list. You would be put on a list. Someone knocking at my door. You said what? It would not end up very, very well for all of us. Here are my papers, sir. It would be bad. I'm glad that that's not the podcast and that this is the Sugarside podcast.
Absolutely.
We've got a good lineup for you today. We're going to start with a few movie reviews, and then we're going to get into our dorky stuff of the week, and we're going to end with I literally, we've struggled with this even on the phone call, laughing while we say Rocky 5.
Rocky 5.
Rocky 5. Oh my gosh.
Put your hand
especially
up
after recording.
Rocky 5.
Put your hand up if what?
If you've seen Rocky 5. Nobody?
I've seen Rocky 5.
Just us? I think it's just us. I don't know if anyone who's listening put their hand up. I'm pretty sure it's just us.
Yeah. Very interesting conversation for Rocky 5, especially after how much fun we've had. I think that Rocky 3 and 4 were some of the funnier conversations that we've had.
Yeah.
And then there's Rocky 5. And then we'll save it for when we get there. Speaking of 5, I saw Toy Story 5 yesterday.
Wow. Segue. Okay.
Yeah, a perfect segue from Rocky 5 to Toy Story 5. Trey, did you see Toy Story 4?
Oh, I don't think I did. I know a lot of the spoilers and I know the characters and I heard a lot about it, but I now that I think about it, I don't think I actually sat down and watched it.
Let me start by saying I feel like my initial reaction to Toy Story 5 is actually that I should rewatch it, because there's definitely a different vibe when you watch a movie by yourself, especially a Toy Story movie. I mean, Toy Story 1 came out the year I was born. So, I'm a Toy Story guy.
Yeah. Right? You have to. It's not your choice.
It's just when I was born.
Yeah,
but very different viewing experience if it was by myself versus I have to be worried about Jack running up and down the movie theater. Buffy was jumping up and down. She was talking the whole movie. I was like, will you shut up? I'm the old person in the movie theater. Be quiet. Keep your damn kids quiet.
Your kid.
It's my kid. And I mean, she's not even one yet. So she's in the theater watching the screen going blah, 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 blah. The whole movie. The entire movie she talked. I could not, there's no keeping a baby quiet like that.
Yeah.
So it was just, I mean, she was having a great time, but shut up. So I do need to rewatch it, but I will say my initial reaction of Toy Story 5 That was fine. It's funny that you say that you don't know if you watched Toy Story 4 or not, because within the first 4 minutes of the movie, my wife leaned over to me and she said, I don't remember what happened at the end of Toy Story 4. And then about 20 minutes into the movie, she leaned over again and said, where's Woody? And I said, I was like, it was one of those moments where it's like, why are you asking me that question? Like, watch Toy Story 4. Because
you're like,
that
happened.
Answers your question of what happened to Woody.
You should have responded and been like, the end
dead.
of Toy Story 4. Yeah.
I should have leaned over and been like, he died. You don't remember he died? Like fucking Bugs Bunny at the end of Space Jam 2. But fucking LeBron ruined that movie. Anyway,
different conversation.
That's neither here nor there. I'm an adult, so I can recognize that, like, my sisters who also grew up with me, I don't know why I had to say it like that, as if they didn't.
What do you mean? You were in the cage by yourself?
I don't know.
They weren't there.
I really appreciated that Jessie was more of, like, the main character of this movie. So that's where I'm going to come across and say, like, I understand that maybe this movie resonated for different people in a different way, because my sisters obviously really like Jessie, and so for her to finally be, like, the main character of the movie was probably really great.
Yeah.
So I don't need to take that away from anyone. I liked that Jessie was more of the main character, but at the same time, I have to say that this movie didn't resonate with me as much as I recognize that it could resonate with other people. Particularly because Woody was my guy.
Yeah.
What I loved about this movie is that they did not try to give Woody any kind of growth in this movie. It's like, no, Woody's character arc ended in Toy Story 4. He was in this movie, but, like, it wasn't about him. Yeah. So, like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not like Woody walked away from this movie, like, learning something. No. I liked that Woody's story ended in 4, which is where it should end. I mean, if we want to get technical, Woody's story should have ended in 3. Because, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a Toy Story 4 defender, but at the same time, I'm also a defender that Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending.
Yeah, they didn't have to do a 4th one.
No, 100% no, but I do like Toy Story 4. So, okay, I'm going to get into maybe some minor spoilers. So if you have not seen Toy Story 5 yet, like Trey, suck it up, Trey. Skip to the next part. Something that bothered me about this movie is that the villain of the movie is Lilypad, which at the end of the day is not like a leapfrog. If you're equating it to a leapfrog toy because it looks like one, you're wrong.
It's an iPad, no?
Lilypad in this movie is exactly like an iPad.
I was thinking when people would say, sorry to cut you off, when people would say like, oh, it's a leapfrog toy. And I'm like, no, it's not, because kids...
Yeah, leapfrog does not connect to the internet.
Yeah, that's not... We grew up with those. Why would they make that movie now? That wouldn't make any sense for today's kids. I've been saying that for weeks. So I'm glad it was an iPad. That makes a lot more sense.
Straight up an iPad. I'm like, they're like even talking about like once things are on the pond, it's the way it is. I'm like, that's the cloud.
That's the cloud. Yeah.
So like So I appreciated that Lilypad was like an iPad, and that like it was more direct about like that conversation and screen time with kids and blah blah blah. I do not like that they kind of pussied out on making Lilypad like the villain, because I mean, come on, Trey, you've seen kids movies. This isn't that much of a spoiler, but like Lilypad towards the end recognizes the error of her ways and like helps them and like switches sides pretty much. Yeah. You know? I only take a personal issue with that, because out of all the franchises in the world for kids movies, Toy Story has actual murderers as their villains. Like Sid in the first movie blows up toys. I've been making this point. I feel like a crazy person, but I've been making this point to everyone. I'm like, guys, as long as a toy is kept in good condition in the canon world of Toy Story, they are immortal. So when I hear like Sid was just a kid, I'm like, no, Sid was like a Cthulhu Cthulhu omnipotent being to the toys because he was exploding them. There's no way to kill a toy, but Sid was
destroying one,
eviscerating them off of the face of the planet to the point where they don't exist anymore. So like that is death for a toy. And I'm like, these immortal beings are witnessing this thing explode them. I'm like, he's a villain. He's a murderer.
He's a murderer, and he's the villain. That's so scary, actually.
No, and I think of Stinky Pete is probably the most tame out of them that I can think of. But the line that sticks with me is, they fixed you once, Woody. They could fix you again. He was going to mutilate him with just by tearing him up with his pickaxe.
Yeah.
To make sure that he was stuck in a museum forever. And then you go to Toy Story 3, and the line that sticks with me all the time, they just saved Lotso, the villain of the story, and all he has to do is press the button so that it stops the conveyor belt. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Where's your kid now, Sheriff?" and walks away and leaves them to burn to death in the incinerator. I'm like, that is so evil.
Yeah.
He's a murderer. So I'm like, out of all, and they did the same thing in 4 a little bit, where they kind of like wimped out, and the villain, the doll, whatever, has like that change of heart. I'm like, no, go back to when the villain is going to murder the toys.
Yeah.
It's so much scarier. So like, out of all the franchises, this is not the one that I see being the opportunity to be like, and then they had a change of heart. No. Toy Story is made for like evil villains. So that bugged me. I was upset that they didn't stick with if at the end she was like, actually, I'm going to have you guys all delivered to different countries, like whatever, like, because she could do anything on the internet, send messages. Like she had all the power of an iPad that she could do herself. And it's like, you could have done some heinous shit.
That's evil, bro.
Yeah, you could have done some heinous stuff. Instead, the worst thing that she does is fake a text from Bonnie to her dad where it's like, "Can you put my toys in the garage?" And it's like, they got put in the garage. That's a little bit different than a incinerator that's going to burn them alive until they're non-existent.
She could have sent them to like a voodoo doll company.
Yeah,
they could have, like, you know what I mean? Like anything. Like they could have done anything with that.
Yeah, no. So that's why I'm a little bit torn, though, because now I'm going to go into another point that I liked. So I did not like that they pussied out on Lilypad being evil, but at the same time, I do appreciate that Lilypad was not the main villain, but cyberbullying was. Like, I'm like, I like that cyberbullying in the movie was the villain, where it's like, it's important to recognize when you are being treated poorly by people you think you want to be friends with. And it's like, the main message of the movie was like, you don't have to change yourself to make friends with who you think are the right friends. Instead, the right friend exists for you.
Yeah. And that's a powerful
you just have to find them.
Especially today.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I'm annoyed about. I'm like, there are things I didn't like. There are things I did like. And that's why at the end of the day, I'm like, it's fine. I don't know how you would find that balance of like Lily being the evil, horrible, like I want to see her thrown in the trash at the end of the movie. But, I don't know how you find that balance between like what the message was, because I do appreciate what was actually said by the end of the day.
Yeah, that's fair. At the end of this season, I think I'm somehow going to come up with a compilation of you and all the times you call a movie fine. And just like clip them together.
A lot of the time.
It's been like 9 out of the 10 movies. It'll be fine, which is fair.
I'm sorry, but if you are not this movie or that movie, then you're fine.
You're fine. Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I could walk away from it being like, it was cute and like, nice. And that's why I'm like, it was fine. I didn't like the side characters as much as I did in 4. 4 gets a lot of crap, and maybe I need to go back and watch that one again, but like I've seen it 2 or 3 times and I'm like, I liked it fine.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, can we pause really quick?
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Hold on.
While Trey is gone, this is a perfect time to run through my list of words that begin with the letter N. No. Negroni. nepotism, Neapolitan, Nigeria, neglect, nincompoop, none, mill.
Sorry. So sorry. I heard one of the dogs walk in and I was like, they're going to shit. And they took a dump right behind me. And I'm like, I'm not sitting with that for the next hour. No, I'll probably see Toy Story 5. I liked the concept of the iPad being the villain. I thought that was very clever and very relevant to today's kids and something that, we really didn't grow up with in the same way. And so I like that they're evolving who the villain is for the current times. And to hear that they had a theme of anti-cyberbullying, I think is also really cool. Because if anyone were to make that statement, it should be them.
Yeah, I don't know. There was just maybe the heart of Toy Story was a little bit not in this movie, where it was the stakes didn't feel that high. Some of my favorite things about Toy Story is the sequences of trying to avoid humans and also the enemy toys and stuff like that, where it's almost Toy Story 3 is especially just straight up ripping off a heist movie.
Yeah.
But I love that. I'm all those sequences are Rube Goldberg machines of things that could go wrong during the plan that they have to adapt to. I always compare it to a Steven Spielberg. I'm this is Raiders of the Lost Ark of things that are happening. Toy Story 3, I think one of the funniest things that happens in that movie is when Mr. Potato Head has to throw out his parts and attach to a tortilla, and then the tortilla gets pecked by birds, and so he has to reattach to a cucumber, and that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there were elements of what I expect out of a Toy Story movie that I didn't get in this one. And that sucks. I hate saying and sounding like that because that is the exact reason why I like Matrix 4. So it just drives me crazy to be the guy that's what did I expect from a Toy Story movie? When it's the Matrix commentary on that is you sound awful when you're the Matrix movies has to have this and this and this. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about Matrix 4 is it's making fun of pretentious douchebags like me. But now I'm and here I am Toy Story 5 wasn't.
5 didn't have what I wanted. All the elements.
Yeah, no, it's stupid. I mean, at the end of the day, what am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to say this franchise should have ended with Toy Story 3 and then we don't need to talk about it anymore.
Right. How many times can you go back to the well is my biggest question. Is eventually you're going to run out of ideas and they're not going to be as good. And that's just the reality of a series is it should end at some point. And there's more times than not, there's a point where you can go, there was the point that it should have ended and they kept going.
That's one of my favorite Ricky Gervais jokes. He was hosting the Golden Globes and he was talking about sequels and reboots and remakes and whatever. And he goes, I heard that they're making a sequel to Sophie's Choice. And he goes, it's got to be this one. Because the whole point of Sophie's Choice is she has to choose between her two kids, which one lives and dies. So a sequel would be it's got to be this one.
It's got to be this one.
It's the only one left. That always kills me whenever I think of that joke is a sequel to Sophie's Choice. That's, I don't know. That's what this feels like. It's I don't need this.
Totally. Well, I saw Obsession.
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, you're the only one in the world who hasn't.
Well, hey, to preface and to be totally fair, I'm never horror genre's biggest fan.
You're not, and you never have been, and I am much more so. I think that's why I like Scary Movie 6 so much because most of the movies
got the references.
I had seen them, and I was that's hilarious. But no, so Obsession's the biggest movie in the world right now.
Yeah,
and I think a big part of that is, from what I've heard, most of the actors and actresses, this is their first big movie. And so people were impressed with the acting performances from the perspective of they were all new faces for the most part.
I like that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool. I heard that going into it, so I was excited to see it. I don't know how many spoilers you care about, if any. I know you know most of everything anyway. But
I feel I know most of everything at this point. I mean, I'm the kind of person where dude, I still haven't seen Hereditary. Everyone tells me how fucking good it is. And I'm that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But, horror isn't everybody's genre. It's a very specific genre of movie. And there's a lot of subgenres within horror of I like some horror films. I don't like others.
That's exactly where I would put me is it has to be such a particular kind of horror movie for me to resonate and be cool with it.
Yeah. I like psychological thrillers the most.
Sure.
I don't like gory films for the sake of being gory.
I don't like gore. I really don't.
Like, I know some people
it makes
who
me sick.
love the Terrifier series, and I never have to watch those movies. I can. I'm just like, I'm not going to go to the theater just to watch like a clown like smile on his face and then cut people's like toes off. Like, I just don't. That's okay. But anyway, I felt like Obsession was good from a psychological thriller perspective. There's a lot of theories as to what the wish actually granted. So basically, the premise is, for those who don't know, this guy works with his best friend and is in love with said friend. And their friend group is like a group of 4, and they all work at the same record store. And he's too chicken shit to tell the girl his feelings. And he wants to buy her a gift because her necklace got lost somewhere. She had like a crystal necklace. And so he goes to this magic store, this crystal shop, to get her a new necklace, and ends up deciding to get this voodoo wish box that says like you get 1 wish and it comes true, but you only get 1. And his plan was to
okay, time out. I love movies that start with a Gremlins present.
Yes, literally.
The Gremlins premise, where it's just like, you walk into this store, you buy this thing that will curse you forever. I love premises like that. That makes me laugh all the time.
So
was there any warning when he bought it? Like, was the shop owner like, you don't want this? It's always some old Asian person.
So that's the thing, is like, it was just a normal guy. I think there was warnings on the box, but he didn't read them. It just said like, make 1 wish and it comes true. So his initial plan was to somehow convince her to make the wish herself, and that was going to be her gift.
Oh, sure.
And then he's sitting outside of her house after taking her home from the bar, and he like chickens out of giving it to her, and so he makes the wish himself and he leaves it, and that's where it starts, is he's sitting outside of her house. And what I'll say,
I know the wish.
Yeah. The wish is,
I wish that she loved me more than anything, or whatever.
Yeah, more than anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
And so the thing that
I've seen Fairly Odd Parents.
Right.
You know which episode I'm talking about, where he's like, I wish I was the only man left on earth with Trixie.
Yeah.
And she's like obsessed with him.
That's literally what happens. And you know, what I will say is the main girl who played the obsessed character did a phenomenal job. She did a really, really good job. I was going into it skeptical because of how popular this movie got. I'm like, was her performance really that great? It really was. For what it was supposed
I love to hear that.
Like, there were so many moments where there would be an awkward silence and she'd be hitting a facial expression, and she didn't blink for like a minute. Like, even as the viewer, I was sitting there and I was like, I'm waiting for her face to change. And she did not break. And it really did sell up how crazy she was.
That would make me throw up in the movie theater, by the way. If I was watching
really
that and it's just like something like this.
Yeah, dude. Like, literally. And like,
I would throw up.
There was a point where he was like, can you not like make the faces you've been making? Like, you're kind of been acting weird and you're freaking me out. And she like starts like belligerently crying, and then like breaks out of him and was like, is this better? And hits like the crazy smile and just like holds it. And it just like pans between him and her, like staring at each other. Like, there's a lot of like really uncomfy moments. Yeah. And she did a really good job. I also liked the idea of what this curse actually was, because what it really was there was a spirit that took her over after the wish, but she is somehow in there and trying to fight her way out. And there are moments in
Full Metal Alchemist. It's what's his name? Is it Lin or Ling? Ling in Greed.
Yeah. And so there are moments where you see the switch happen in real time, and most of the time it's like she'll be doing something. Like, there's a scene where they kiss for the first time, and he's like, I can't believe she likes me. Like, you can tell he's so hesitant because she's so forward. And then she randomly just like pushes him away and starts like screaming bloody murder and like backs up on the ground and crawls. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like what is that? And it's like in the middle of the night, and she just stands up. She's like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. No.
The monkey's paw. You always have to consider that the wish has like extra things attached to it. I've been a kid my whole life. I've been a like, how can I wish for more wishes kind of kid my whole life. So I'm like, you have to think of every outcome of what your wish would entail. That's one of my favorite Adventure Time episodes is I wish that the Lich never even ever existed, and it changes everything.
It changes everything.
You can't make wishes willy-nilly.
Right. And so like, but it's kind of cool because as you're starting to piece together, like, oh my God, she's still in there. There's a point where he grabs the box and he calls the number on the box, and it's like, questions or concerns, call this number. And it's just this.
They have a number. That's so funny. It's a genie that picks up. It's like, hey, what's up?
Just some random voice, and he's literally just like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, and then he's like stuttering through his words, and he goes, you want to take back your wish, huh? And then he's like, I just want to change it to where like she's not obsessive. Like I wanted her to like me. And he's like, we can't really do that. Did you want to cancel your wish? And he's like, yes, like, fuck it. I don't want this wish anymore. And he goes, we can't really do that. Like, did you not?
Then why did you ask?
Right. And then he's like, why did you set it up? Like you were going to let me.
No, I've had too many real customer service experiences that are exactly like that, where I'd be like, well, then what are you here for?
Right. But then, so you're like laughing at this point, right? And I told you off camera that like this movie made me laugh. And that was one of the moments that I laughed. I was like, that's hilarious. But then they always like twist it at the last second. They did a really good job of making you laugh and then being like, oh, fuck. And there's a moment in the conversation after that where he goes, did you want to speak with her? And he's like, who? And he goes, Nikki. And then you can hear him like turn the phone and it's just bloody murder screaming behind him. And then he says something like, have a nice day. And just like cuts the line off or something. And he's just left in his car sitting. Like there's a lot of moments that you really feel what's going on.
No, this is Patrick.
Yeah. Literally, like, I'm telling you, this movie has intense moments for sure. And like, it's not a comedy horror by any means, but there are some moments where you just almost have to laugh uncomfortably. And I felt like they did a really good job of kind of keeping you guessing of like, what is this wish? Like I'm just going to give the whole movie away. Whatever. You're not going to watch it. I
might watch it. I like more uncomfortable kind of horror than like just straight up like jump scares and whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm so old. This was so long ago, but I'm like one of the better horror movies I can think of off the top of my head is Midsummer. And that movie was very uncomfortable, but like not scary.
No, this movie gives Midsummer vibes in a lot of ways, just from you're just sitting there like crawling in your skin, but you almost can't look away. Like that was a lot of this movie. I'm not going to give away too much more because I want you to see it. And then we'll talk about, it'll probably be off camera, but we'll talk about a theory that I read online that I thought was really interesting, but I don't want to give away the part of the movie that lends itself to said theory. So I'll let you watch it first and we'll talk about it. But all in all, I liked it. I think one of my favorite parts about it is I would watch it again. I feel like it has a lot of rewatchability because the terms and the reality of the wish were so vague and up to interpretation that I feel like you could watch it 5 times and have a different idea about it 5 times. And I also really like horror movies like that. Yeah. I don't like when I can figure it out the whole way through.
No, for sure. Okay. I'll have to see when it comes out on like streaming or whatever and give it a shot, and then we can jump back in.
But... Yeah, we'll jump back into it. But going off of that and passing the sugar a little bit, you have a video game to talk about, and you haven't talked about video games in a little while. So let's get into that for a minute.
I'm so ashamed of myself, Trey. Seriously, like one of my favorite videos I ever made was called The Last Overwatch Player.
I remember when you made that.
Yeah, because I was like, this game is dead. I'm the only one that plays it, all this stuff. Like that was the video that I made. Obviously that's not the case anymore. They've done a lot of work recently to try to like revisit the original Overwatch kind of vibes. And I'm a sucker. I mean, I ended that video with me uninstalling Overwatch, and spoiler alert, I never actually uninstalled it. I'm an addict, and I've played this game since 2016. All of my characters have the 10-year charm equipped to the weapon, so that if I get play the game, whatever, if I kill you, you can see that like on my guns is the 10-year charm that I've been here since the fucking beginning.
Yeah.
But so Overwatch has probably released like, I don't know, I'm exaggerating, but like 20 new characters from the original roster in a long time. It's been a while. A lot of new characters, and I have only ever gone in and played Widowmaker and Cassidy McCree, if you're old like me. But like I play who I like. I just get on quick play. I don't play competitive, anything like that. And I have not touched any of the new characters. But then a new character came out, Trey. Her name is Shion, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And talk about like the obsession wish curse where I'm still in there. Like as soon as I touched this character, the real me came out. I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm free. This is what it means to have fun. It was like I had been stuck in a fog of playing Widow.
I think of the World of Warcraft episode of South Park, where he's like, what do we do now? He's like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Now we actually get to play the game.
Now we can finally play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they released Shion, and I am a fan. I instantly picked her up. I mean, I tried her once, and then I was like, oh no, this is the new me. She's just like a perfect blend of like the play style that I actually enjoy. I mean, Widow is not a reflection of what I actually enjoy. I mean, with Widow, what I enjoy is killing someone in one shot and just being like, haha, yeah, because that always makes me laugh. But Shion, it took me a second. The movement is so fun. I just like the motorcycle, the things you can do with the motorcycle. You have a duration on your charge. So when you're driving, the clock is going down. You could run into people, which does damage. You can launch it, which does damage. You can jump in the air the whole time. You can jump all over. One of my favorite things to do is actually to jump into the air, hit a flying player by running into them, landing, jumping again, and then turning around into that flying player and launching my bike into them and having them explode, because that's like the main kit of her damage is the bike. Like the one-shot combo is to run into them with the bike, launch the bike, and then execute with your right click instead of your left click. And it's a one-shot. It just will kill them. I just am getting such a thrill out of playing her. It's so fun to be like at a range. She plays at such a good range of like, here I am in the middle of the team fight. Pew, 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 pew. Like, here I am next to my tank. You see me next to my tank? And then just me being like, and I go away and I get on my bike and I go on the back road. And then like, here's someone up here. And I just explode them and then dip. I think it's so funny. It makes me laugh every time that I'm like, I'm in the middle of the fight. You see me in the fight. And then I just go all the way around the corner, explode one person and leave.
Yeah.
It just kills me. And you can do the exact same thing with her ult. Her ult is pretty much a Reaper ult where like you spin around and do damage and people die. But you get 3 charges of it. So you can rush. You get 3. So, that's also one of my favorite things to do is like, oh, we're in the middle of a team fight. As soon as this person does this thing, I'm going to go around here and then I'm just going to lightning bolt my way up and they're all dead. It's so funny. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been like 35-2.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Like I'm a murderer right now. All the experience of playing Widow and Cassidy have led me perfectly to this character because she is also a hit scan, which matters for my aim. My aim has significantly improved since I have only played Widowmaker for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just like, in my head while I'm playing, I hear like tiptoe through the tulips with me because I'm just landing every shot and it's hilarious. I don't know. I like that she's like a perfect blend of Tracer and Cassidy. She plays at more of like a mid to close range, and it's really up to you like how you want to approach things. So like, I don't know, the people that I've gone up against who play her poorly are mostly just like running in. They're just running in and dying. I'm like, you're not even trying to be sneaky. The funny part about her is that it's a bike, a motorcycle that's going and you are just coming up from behind them, landing it in their ass, exploding them, and then leaving.
Yeah.
And then by the time their teammates turn around to see what happened, I'm gone. That's the funniest part about her. It's like, what even happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know.
So I don't know. I've definitely been more like on Overwatch than I have been in a minute. Which is saying something because I probably do play Overwatch at least like once or twice a day, like, you know, get on and do like a quick play round to clear my head. But now I'm like, no, I want to be on for hours exploding people with her.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And
It actually kills me.
No, it's good.
I'm almost, hey, James Bond, by the way, I'm almost like, I would say, I don't know. I have to be over halfway through. I have to. Great game. Every time that I get back to it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is so fun.
That's awesome. That's so good. I'm glad to get a game to enjoy again. Like, I think what's cool about games that update over time is like if they do it right, you actually get to enjoy yourself again. And there is a real thing where like you play the game because you've played for so long, but you're not really having fun the way that you used to have fun.
Bro, literally yesterday, they released patch notes, and I'm like, every single hero has changed. It might as well be a different game.
That's awesome.
They took away Sombra's hack. She can't hack anymore. It's like a part of the virus ability. They changed it to like be a part of a different ability. Junkrat can't toss his mine anymore. Instead, the ability is now the mine is always underneath you, and if you explode it, it'll do like an AoE and you launch. So there's no more throwing mines. I'm like, that was Junkrat's whole thing. It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Reaper, every kill with his ult extends the duration of the ult by a second. So if you kill someone, the ult goes longer. That's like, oh my God,
that's nuts. If you play that right, that's insane.
There are crazy changes that just happened, and I'm like, thank you. That's what like makes these games fun for me. Is like it's okay to be different and like and mix up your whole kit for a character. And like I've played Junkrat for 10 years, and all of a sudden they're like, actually now these are his moves. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, get good. No, I feel like it's a different thing because it's a competitive FPS, but I feel like it's the same concept as our Hollow Knight conversation, where it's like change isn't bad. Making a game difficult again isn't bad. Just because you were used to one thing, it doesn't mean that you should expect the same thing as the game goes forward. That's boring. That gets so old. The whole point of like I feel like a lot of people only like games if they're good at the game. And it's like, that's not the point of a game. The point of the game is getting good at the game. Playing the game when you're not good or you're learning new things. That's the game. The game isn't, oh, I'm good now, so now I like it because I'm good at it. Like, that's so lame.
No, brother, I've been playing Overwatch for 10 years. I'm not a professional. It's still just fun to like try things.
Yeah.
I mean, I made Dan watch like one round, and he hadn't seen Overwatch gameplay in a long time, and he was watching the screen. He was like, I'm gonna have a seizure. What is happening?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I love about Overwatch is like, you know, Valorant is all about like you round the corner very quietly and pew pew, like, you know, get people. You have abilities, but it's not like Overwatch where it's like, I am vomiting graphics onto the screen because everyone is doing batshit crazy things. It's like playing 10-person Smash.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, or Smash Brothers, where it's just like everyone is doing fucking insane things, and the screen is ridiculous. All these ults are going off. Everyone's shouting like, "You will die!" And it's like, what do I do?
Yeah,
and it's like, but because I know what everything does and how to get out of situations or whatever, it's so fun. I like that game.
There's a certain draw to games that make you think like, which character am I again? Because there's just so much happening at the same time that your eyes get caught by so many things that you're like, fuck, wait, that's not me. Where am I?
I will say I totally understand that Overwatch lost a lot of face and a lot of reputation over the years. I was a part of it. That's that video. It's the last Overwatch player. I'm like, this game sucks. I don't think it's that way anymore. I don't know how to tell people that, like, I'm not like a crazy homeless person on the street with a sign like Overwatch is back. I'm like, no, guys, Overwatch is actually fun. Like, if you want to take all that stuff out and whatever, I think that they made a lot of significant changes to actually improving like enjoyability of that game. I mean, even in that original video, one of my biggest critiques was all of the patches in the early days were geared towards professional players because they were so focused on making Overwatch League a thing. So people would be complaining about certain things and all the buffs and nerfs would happen regarding the competitive scene. And now it feels more like we changed Junkrat's kit because it's funny and goofy. I'm like, thank you. I like funny and goofy way more than like we made this damage go from 0.25 to 0.24 because everyone was being a bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like, I just want to have fun.
Yeah, but there should be a lot more people that just want to have fun. And
I think that they realize that this game will never actually be in the competitive scene in the way that it was in 2016.
Yeah.
And now it's just fun.
It should just
be fun.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm sorry for ranting as much as I did.
Good.
We're definitely going on time.
You're good. I'll keep my segment short because I know you're not caught up. But ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Love Island USA, right? So anyone who's watching Love Island USA right now, I know that you are gripping your couch waiting for tomorrow's episode. I'm so mad that they take a midweek break.
I'm gripping right now. What am I gripping under this desk?
You should. I should see nail marks because last night's episode of Love Island USA, I thought there was going to be a fight, actually. And there's already been a verbal altercation on this season where there's a hard cut and two girls are no longer sitting on the couch and you can tell the producers made them leave the room because of how heated things got. Like things are...
But they used to show that.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. The TV back then, they used to show that shit.
Show that. Yeah.
Love Island season 2, I think it was, for UK. They bring a bombshell in, and the same night that they bring this new girl in, they get into an altercation of throwing alcohol in each other's faces, getting up to punch each other. I was like, yes, this is why I love the show.
Oh, dude, there was on the first season of Are You the One? Shout out if you watch Are You the One? There was a girl who felt like she got screwed over by the guy that she was talking to or thought was her match. And she falls on the bed and starts hitting herself in the face, and everyone else has to run over her, and they're like, that's not the way, and she's punching herself in the side of the head, dude. And they showed the whole thing.
That is reality TV, brother. I feel like I don't know, we were just talking about people getting stupider, but I'm like, no, we were at the peak of stupid, and then it got like a different kind of stupid where it's like, no, we have to like not show that stuff or whatever. I'm like, no, go back to like, I want to see girls kicking each other in the pussies. It's funny.
No, I feel like now, like with all the documentaries like America's Next Top Model and all these other documentaries that are exposing the realities of reality TV, people are getting sued now and producers are getting sued now, and like they know that, and so I think they're definitely tiptoeing a line. Yeah, it's
cowards.
It's one.
We had worlds to conquer.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not as entertaining, but it is funny to watch how they edit it because, especially with Love Island, the fact that it comes out every day, they're in there scrambling to edit that footage in time to put it out with the cuts that they want, and that's the funniest part to me. Is like, where'd Melanie go? Like from one scene to the other, she's just gone. And like,
I totally understand. I mean, like, especially with Love Island, I'm a little bit more understandable about cutting stuff like that because Love Island UK has been responsible for like 5 suicides.
Yeah.
So like, they definitely need to make a kind of change so that people aren't killing themselves because they went on your show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, no, go back to it. I don't care. Let them, if it's that bad, let them do it.
And like, they have After Sun too, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't watch After Sun, but I watched this last episode because I heard that they were going to show the footage of the girls getting kicked out of the room, and they didn't show it. And I'm like, dude, if there's ever a time to show
a place, it's After Sun.
After Sun. That's the whole point of After Sun.
100%.
And now I'm never watching After Sun again. I'm like, this was such a waste of time.
No, wimps. Exactly. After Sun is for like behind the scenes or cut footage. And if they were, where did you hear that? Was it like a commercial? Who was teasing that?
It was, I don't think it was official. It was people on Twitter who were like, I bet they're going to show the scenes on After Sun because you can clearly see that Melanie's in one shot and not the other. And I'm like, that's an awesome idea. I hope they do that. And what they did show was the episode in question that this altercation happened was when they came back from Casa. And they either brought back someone from Casa or they didn't. And so what they didn't show in the actual episode is the boys telling the Casa girls their decision. They just showed them coming back to the villa, either single or not. And so on After Sun, they showed the boys' conversations with the Casa girls and deciding whether they were going to bring them to the villa or not. So I was like, okay, if they showed that deleted scene, then they should definitely show the other one, right? And then they didn't. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. I don't care about those conversations. Those conversations.
It's funny that you're talking about that because I'm not that deep into Love Island UK this season yet. I will catch up when I can. Come on, TV has been a little rough recently.
Yeah.
But they had a guy on the show who was in one scene for like right beforehand, and then it was like a hard cut, and it's the announcer, and he's like, for unrelated reasons, he left the villa. And I'm like, no, you don't get to just say that. Tell me what happened, because there's no way that someone was just like, I'm going home. It's like, no.
Yeah,
you know that their ass was kicked off the show. I want to know why. Don't give me this vanilla, this guy went home. So tell me why. His mom had better died.
So can we talk about, on that note, can we keep a tally of how many people get kicked off of Love Island USA for saying the N-word in an old social media video? Because I think
is it more than 3?
Well, there was a girl that just got kicked off of Casa during Casa for the same thing. And what they did was she was in one scene with the guy she was talking to, and then the announcer goes, so-and-so was asked to leave the show for unforeseen circumstances, and now Trinity is going to talk to Bryce. And it cuts to another conversation, and it was the same thing. And I found out on Twitter that someone found the video in question. And
they've been doing that way too often recently. For one thing, I don't know what to do, man. I'm like, you either need to really up your background check stuff, before the show starts, or you gotta leave them on the show at that point. And
it's funny you say that, because somebody commented on a tweet about the girl getting kicked off for that reason, and they go, so the people who are having sex on TV are the ones you're worried about what their social media presence is. Like, what do we care about certain things and not others?
Oh my God, that brings up such a good point, which is that I am watching these shows because I think that their character sucks.
Yeah.
I'm watching these shows because I think they're stupid, vain losers.
Yeah.
So when it comes out like, oh, this person said the N-word, no shit. I already think that they're idiots.
I just said that 20 minutes ago that they probably do, and now you just proved me right.
No, exactly. I think that you just nailed it on the head, where it's like, why am these aren't my role models.
Yeah.
Why am I'm judging these people on things that they said on Twitter? I'm sure that they've said, no, come on, Trey. I'm sure that they have said even worse things than just the N-word, which, come on, the N-word's a bad thing to say, but at the same time,
terrible. But
they have had to say horrible things. Like, imagine being like, I don't even have an example. I don't have an example.
Tread lightly.
No, I don't have an example.
We're
what am I
trying to get you on
about?
Survivor, okay? You're going to be the one that gets asked to leave.
No, but I am at least saying that, like, out of all the people to say the N-word, it would be these idiots.
It would be,
and that's like, I'm okay with it because they're on reality TV. This is my zoo. I'm here to be like, ha ha ha, look at the giraffe. Like, I'm not here to be like, wow, look at President Lincoln on Love Island.
Okay, so getting back to the actual episode from last night.
Yeah.
No. You're good. That needed to be said, and that was really fucking funny.
Idiots. I'm just like, I'm already think that they're morons. Of course they've said the N-word.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But all that to say, Love Island, just tell us why they get kicked off. It's part of the show.
Even if it is the N-word, just tell me.
Just say that. Make a joke. The announcers are so good. The narrators are so good. They could come up with a joke that'd be hilarious that tells you that they said that without actually having to say they said that. Like, their writing is actually 100%. Good enough that they could take on that assignment. But anyway.
Absolutely.
So this was movie night. But I should say movie night part 1, because these guys are moving so slimy, they had to make movie night part 2 that comes out tomorrow night. So, what I will
That's
say,
wild.
I'm going to go over some details in some situations, but more than anything, I wanted to bring up with you the discourse that has been going on about this season and specifically this episode in particular, and what you think in terms of older Love Island UK seasons or even USA seasons to see if you notice the same thing. Because basically,
I do consider myself an expert
yeah,
on old Love Island UK.
The couple in question that gets talked about the most is this couple, Casey and Anaya. And they've been together since the beginning of the show. But mind you, a big crux of this whole situation is after the first challenge, when they had to choose who they wanted to be with. No one was behind Casey's door. Anaya only got paired with him because the guy that had 2 girls behind his door picked the other girl. That's number one. So from day one, Casey has felt like this girl doesn't really like me because none of them liked me. I was chosen by default. And he's held on to that. Whether he should or shouldn't doesn't really matter, but he keeps bringing up that point of you never actually chose me. So why should I choose you, basically? But essentially, they go through some ups and downs. She's being a classic Love Island character of, I am going to tell you that I'm okay if you explore other people, but I'm going to be upset when you explore other people. And he has been pretty honest with her before Casa of saying, I want to explore other people, but I feel like you'll get mad at me. And so I don't, because I don't want to upset you. And I don't feel like that's fair. He didn't really say it that eloquently, but that's basically what he was trying to get across. And there was a few interactions where she would end up crying and like the whole thing was thrown out the window. And he's like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So he goes to Casa, and as soon as their feet touch that new fake lawn, he starts acting a fucking fool. He's all over this new girl, like talks.
This is where I throw my hands up, though, Trey. This is where I throw my hands up. The same with movie night, Casa, the whole deal.
Yeah.
I'm like, has no one seen the show before?
Totally, of course.
I'm like, you know that Casa is coming. You know that movie night is coming. Why are you still being an idiot douchebag?
So here's the thing, right? The argument online has become, because there's 2 sides to this. There's, I'm pro Anaya, fuck men, Casey's awful, we hate him, which is how the girls on the season feel, at least from the villa. And I'll get to that. The other side is justice for Casey. All the guys are moving the exact same. You're picking on him because Anaya's a big baby and she never wanted him to explore anyway. This is what I think about it. And then I'll get to my question for you. More than I agree that she definitely didn't act comfortable with him exploring. That is true. She would cry multiple times when he brought up the notion of exploring other people. That is true.
Yeah, cried.
What I think she's more upset about is the things he said about her while he was with the Casa girls and with his guys in Casa. Because he said things like he called her a grandma. He said that he spoke life into her every day and she's so boring and blah-de-blah-de-blah. And like came at her character. And so when he came back from Casa, her whole thing was like, you disrespected me and then brought someone else back. This wasn't about you exploring. This is about, because her thing is like, I explored somebody else too, but I never talked down on you. You talked down on me to everyone in that house. And then you come back and act like everything you did was okay. That's not fucking okay. Fuck you. And so...
Pause. I'm so sorry, Trey. I'm going to piss my pants.
No, so now that Garrett's gone, are we Team KC? Are we Team Anaya? How are we feeling? Let us know in the comments. I see both sides. I definitely lean more towards Anaya because I do think that Casey was much more disrespectful, for sure. I also understand the discourse of Sincere should get just as bad a treatment from the other girls as Casey does, and he doesn't. And I think it's just because his stuff is so heinous that you're kind of just jaw on the floor. I don't know what to say. But I do agree that Casey definitely gets worse of it than Sincere does, and I don't really know why. But I wouldn't say I'm a Casey defender in terms of how he moved. How he moved was crazy. So, how's everybody doing? How we feeling? I'm feeling really good. My monster's hitting. Yeah, it's been a good time. I hope you guys are having a good time. And I'm excited to get to our last segment after this is done. But I also know this is running long. So if you've stuck around this long, I love you. And I promise it'll continue to be worth it. It's the longest pee in history. I should have timed it.
Oh, who did that? See the people that climbed to the top of the Empire State Building with like a flag? They're on the fucking tip top.
That's so crazy. Did you read the flag?
No, who cares? I'm like, you're gonna die.
It's cool flag.
I'm like, your message is only as good as the pavement.
Yeah.
look at
If you
my
live, I'm not
shillings.
reading it.
My shillings. I have to my goblin coins. I gotta go put them on my
Shillings.
shelf with all my other my coins. Oh, shillings. So
Uh.
many shillings.
I always think of, whenever I think of like mystical names for money or coins, I always think of that Rick and Morty episode where they're watching the intergalactic TV and they get that infomercial of like what stuff costs on like their version of how it's made.
Schmeckles. You
Yeah.
guys say schmeckles.
But like every time he says it, like different things are priced differently than they should be.
Yeah.
And like the guy like stutters, like he'll be like, that'll be 4.5 marbles.
Schmeckles. It always ends on schmeckles. That's what
So
I remember from Rick and Morty is that was schmeckles.
So the question I have for you, and the biggest
I'm ready.
discourse and debate I see on Twitter right now is, do you feel like there's a double standard on Love Island between girls exploring and boys exploring, or do you think it's truly like situationally exclusive to how people go about it?
Ooh, that is such a good question because I feel torn.
I do too. And like the thing is, so the boys and the girls on this season argued about that because they showed KC's video and then they showed Anaya's video, and all the guys around KC were like, wait a fucking minute, you had someone too. You're just mad that he didn't choose you and he brought someone back. This has less to do with how he moved and more to do with the fact that you were upset that you weren't chosen and you threw away a good connection for someone who didn't actually want you. That's the conversation. And like, I'm torn about that because
there are a lot of situations where the guy will be moving a certain way and the girl, this could go vice versa at the same time though.
Mm-hmm, totally.
In this situation, I'm going to say guy does this thing, girl does this thing, but remember that it can go both ways.
Yeah.
In the history of Love Island.
Yes.
But there will be times where the guy will be moving a certain way and the girl will be like, I'm sleeping outside. I'm sleeping by myself. I'm not even talking to any of these guys.
Yep.
That is a totally different situation than I was flirting with this guy and you were flirting with this girl and I ended up coming back and choosing you and you came back with this girl. It's totally different because it shows that like they could have also brought that Casa person with them.
Right. And so the question then becomes, because one of the Casa girls brought this up and said, if they switch the order of these movies, then this argument wouldn't hold any water and the guys would have reacted to your video the same way that you reacted to KC's video. It's only because they showed KC's video first that this argument holds any water.
I could totally see that as well.
And I can see that too. It was a really good argument, even though they were screaming and there was a lot of like nonsensical, no one's hearing each other. There were some points that I'm like, I do like this conversation because I think it opens the door for a bigger conversation about Love Island as a whole. Because this isn't the first time that this has happened.
No, obviously. Of course not. And that's why Casa is like probably my favorite part of the show.
Oh, it's so good. I can't wait every year.
No, they're like, as far as a double standard goes, I've seen boys get treated that way. I've seen girls get treated that way. So I'm not sure that I would say it's like strictly gender based.
Yeah.
But I will say the show's been on the air for so long. You guys are just actual morons for acting the way that you do.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm like, if you're flirting hard in Casa and your intention is not to bring that person back with you, that's gonna get shown. You just know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you doing? You should already have some sort of, oh my God, I did it. Every time I say, what are you doing? In my head, the SNL bit, the Tucker Carlson comes in my head like, what are we doing? What's going on? It just breaks my brain. But it's the same thing. It's just like, what are we even talking about when like that particular situation, it seems like, when it gets to that level, it's more like individual. And not just like a blanket statement on Love Island. It's like, no, you acted this way.
Right. And that was her thing. And what I said earlier was like, yes, I also explored another connection, but I never talked down on your character. You disrespected me to multiple people while you were exploring that connection. And that's what I'm upset about.
No, I think that's a big difference.
Now,
big difference.
What the guys rebutted with is, sure, you can be upset about that now that he's back, but you didn't know that before he came back from Casa. So, like, you already made your decision.
You know that's gonna come out, though. That's what I'm saying is, like, if you go into Casa and you are talking shit on the person that you're with,
yeah,
that's just a bad move.
No, totally.
As far as playing the game goes, I'm like, that's a bad move. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like so Survivor based, but I'm like, Love Island, you are there at the end of the day to win money.
Yeah, I mean, there is a game that like some people get caught up in playing the game too much where it's too obvious. There is a balance of like, I'm actually trying to find love so that America likes me and my couple, but I'm also trying to make the decisions to win the money. Like, it's a very thin line.
That's what made Fuckboy Island, F-Boy Island better.
Yeah.
Was that they do present that option at the end of all Love Island where it's like you could just take the money.
Yeah.
They have never done it. Never. In my entire history of watching Love Island, they have never done it.
Yeah.
F-Boy Island ended with him being like, yeah, I'm going to end this relationship and I'm going to take the money. It was the goal the whole time. So fucking funny.
That's so good, dude.
But like, Love Island, I'm like, you're there at the end of the day. Love is not actually a factor of Love Island. I'm like, guys, you were there to win Instagram followers and money.
And you're there for 3 weeks. Like, you don't know these people.
No.
You know nothing about
the last time we had this conversation, you brought up like how many of these like older Love Island contestants from old seasons are DJs now. It's like they are just there to get their name out.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's how you win Love Island.
Yeah.
And so when you go and do these things, knowing what the show is, I'm like, you're stupid.
Yeah. It's obviously to get noticed, but like, I don't understand why you would want to get noticed for a bad rep. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, because he'll make a comment sitting there watching his own tape and he's like, they got cameras everywhere, bruh. And it's like, but you know that. You know
that.
Show. You were
on Love Island.
Yeah.
I don't
crazy.
know. At that point, it becomes like, what are you even thinking? Like, and if you are going to act that way, you know the situation on hand. So at least have a good defense or something, like, or a good argument to be made. In so many cases, it's just like, I didn't know. And it's like, you're
That's
stupid.
Not true. Yeah. No, I think the biggest argument from the boys on this season, and I understand it, is the first argument and altercation that led to the girls getting put off the scene or taken out of the scene was when they first came back. And so as soon as he walked in with said girl, all the girls went crazy. And that's where the guys were like, you didn't know that he disrespected you when he came in. You were just upset that he didn't choose you. And now you're making it into, yeah, he said some things he shouldn't have, and you have a right to be mad. But you would have been mad regardless just because he didn't choose you. And all of your girls ganged up on him. And that's not fair because he's literally doing what we're here to do. You can't be mad that he likes somebody more than you. Like, that's not okay. And
I mean, that's what Casa is there for.
Right.
Is the like mid-season test.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's one couple that's going to end up together at the end of this season and break up as soon as the season ends, but everybody else hates each other's guts. And I kind of
I will say it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here, because some of my favorite Love Island seasons had moments where like the main couple of the season are together from the beginning, go to Casa, they both come back with new people, and they're all angry at each other for a while, and then they end up back together. And that's like, those are some of my favorite Love Island seasons.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I was wrong, I want you. And it's like, that's a totally different kind of outcome. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But as far as like this, I mean, that's just a typical Casa Amor reaction.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so that's them. I'll leave it on. I'm excited to see what happens with Melanie and Sincere, because Sincere, and I'll talk about it more
again. What are we doing, people? What are we doing naming people Sincere? Are you actually kidding me? Like, if I have one more kid because of this, I'm going to look at the first thing in the room and be like, garbage.
The producers doing things like cutting him, calling Melanie beloved, and then immediately walking to the other girl and be like, hey, beloved, how are you? They fucked him so bad.
No, that's good editing. That's good editing, but for sure.
Good editing.
Trey, that is good editing for sure, but that is a stupid move on his
Of course
part.
it is. He's so ridiculously dumb. And the thing is, so this whole, I'll say this about him, and I'll keep this brief. His whole video was the worst video I've probably ever seen. He
Oh,
deliberately, like, just clearly didn't care about being seen and any of this stuff coming out because he's seen the show, right? But then on top of that, Melanie is sitting there and she's dead silent, deadpan the whole time. And his video ends and everyone's like, Melanie, like, are you okay? Like, do you have something to say? And she literally sits there, one tear falls and she goes, I have nothing to say. And like, they just move on. And then
that's so good.
and then they
Give
show
her an
the
Oscar.
trailer for next week. And all they showed so far was him and the last bombshell before Casa. This wasn't even Casa stuff. Tomorrow's episode is Casa stuff. And then it cuts to Melanie and she's up in his face and she's like, why the fuck are you making me look so stupid? And I'm like, I can't wait for her to explode because she might actually punch him in the mouth. Like, she was so scary sitting there in dead silence. I was actually nervous watching it. I really was.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think that CC is still catching up, but I did tell her that you reached out and were like, it popped off. And so like, yeah, it's going to be interesting
Movie
to
night
see.
was good.
I mean, at the end of the day, as far as Love Island goes, I gotta say, like, this again is not carrying the same traction that last season did.
No. And like, in some ways, I feel like the drama is better. I think last season's characters just did a better job of being memorable outside of the villa. No one's going to care about Sincere in like 6 months. People are going to talk about Huda for the next 5 years. Like, her drama.
That's so funny. I literally was just thinking, what was her fucking name? And then you said Huda, and I'm like, oh yeah, her. But it's the same idea. I'm like, at the end of the day, maybe that's what makes Love Island so fun to watch, is that all these people think that like they're gonna be the man afterwards, and it's like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, literally. I forget some of their names now when I'm watching the show.
No, I'm like, it is like a perfect example of like a 15 minutes of fame kind of moment.
Totally.
Like, where it's like you had your time in the sun and no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love watching Love Island in the moment because it's like, wow, what a bunch of goofballs. So yeah, it sounds like this Casa and movie night and the whole deal is really probably the peak of this season, right?
Totally. Yeah, we've had some build up that have been like good moments of like, oh shit, but movie night really, it has done its job. It's doing what it does. It's doing what it's meant to do.
I remember when they first invented movie night.
Yeah.
It's not been a part of Love Island the whole time.
Yeah.
Movie night was the thing that came later. And I remember when they invented movie night and I was like, yeah, they have to do this every year because it was great.
They've made some really cool choices this season. This is the last thing I'll say because I know we got to get to Rocky 5.
Rocky 5.
But so when the boys first went to Casa, they had this challenge called the heart rate challenge where the girls come in and their heart rate is monitored and whatever, right? And of course, because the boys are excited to go to Casa, they're like, I'm going to go crazy. And the girls in the villa come out and they're in like this like Halloween costume party stuff. And they look really done up and they're like so excited to see their guys and their guys aren't there. But there's a giant gift box on the lawn and they're like, are the boys in it? Like, what's in there? We're so excited. And it drops down and it's a giant TV screen and they live streamed the heart rate challenge from Casa to the villa, and the Casa boys had no idea. And so like the girls are losing their minds, like screaming like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. And there's Melanie again, deadpan. And she goes, you need to watch it. And everyone looks at her and they're like, what? And she's like, I need to know everything. Like, I'm going to watch all of it. And she doesn't stand up once. She doesn't yell once. She literally watches every single frame for the entire like 35 minutes. And it's like, she's probably my favorite character because her mad is so calm and all of the little things.
That's funny that you say that because I'm like, Melanie sounds like she's like a second away from being a serial killer.
Dude, she looks like she could murder someone in those moments legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, you're actually scared of her. If anyone gets remembered from this season, it'll probably be her because of how she reacts in these moments. She has her crazy screaming moments, but the more memorable ones are those where she's just like hands folded, like all the girls around her are just like chicken heading around and she's just losing her mind.
Yeah, no, that's scary. I wouldn't, I wouldn't mess with her.
No, it's awesome. But anyway, let me get this away. What is happening right now? We
What the
have
fuck?
a movie to talk about. I said we have a movie to talk about to finish today's episode.
We do.
And it doesn't have to be very long. There's not too much to say, but we're
There's
going to
not
talk
too
about it
much to
anyway.
say about Rocky 5, dude. What am I supposed to say about Rocky 5? I watched it.
I really want a Rocky 5 defender to come out in the comments. I really want someone to be like, that's my favorite Rocky movie, and I want to hear the argument for it.
I was this close, dude. I briefly talked to you about it off the phone, but on the phone, like, that I was like, man, I almost see what they were trying to do with Rocky 5 this time around, because Rocky 5 is by far my least rewatched movie out of the Rocky franchise.
Yeah.
And Rocky Balboa is one of my most rewatched out of the franchise. And so this time around, I was watching Rocky 5 going, they almost had it.
Yeah.
Like, because I think that there are things in Rocky 5 that like are a precursor for Rocky Balboa. And it's like, man, if you had just approached it in the way that you did with Rocky Balboa, Rocky 5 would have been a totally different movie. Instead, Rocky 5 is horrible. It's not horrible. I don't know. I'm almost a Rocky 5 defender. But at the same time, I'm not. I think that Rocky 5 has one of the most serious and sad openings to a Rocky movie ever, where it's right after getting his ass pummeled by Drago, and he's in the locker room. That locker room scene is great.
Yeah.
He's in the shower, it's dark, it's like all this stuff, and his gloves come off, and he goes, I can't stop shaking.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Like,
yeah.
and then to tell Rocky, like, you have permanent brain damage and you cannot fight anymore or you will die, is sad. It's sad to like see that. And I think that Rocky 5 went into production with the goal of kind of returning Rocky to that street level of Rocky 1 and Rocky 2. Because Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 are so bombastic and crazy and stupid that they were like, let's tone it down.
Well, and it's the journey.
To tone it down, you had to strip Rocky of everything that he's ever earned and done and whatever. I'm like, he in Rocky 5 should not be living in the same kind of apartment that he was in Rocky 1.
Yeah, it's true. But it's like, I think
it's disgraceful.
It's the journey of a fighter though, right? It's like,
how accurate is that really though? That like once you are out of the peak and the fame and everything, that you go back to squalor.
I mean, it depends on how well you handle your money and who you are when you become famous. Yeah. Like, you know, how many fighters that become fighters from poverty and all they know is fighting, how many of them without a good manager could manage money? What if it is,
I mean, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, what if it is their best friend that's like, I thought I was doing a good deal and getting a tax extension, and he fucking signs a power of attorney to a loan shark that like loses them all their money on a bout housing deal. Like, that probably happens more times than we realize.
No, it's true. I mean, off the top of my head, he's not a fighter, but I mean, athlete in the same kind of space and competitiveness. One of my favorite people to listen talk about this kind of stuff is Shaq, and it's kind of like the same thing. I mean, Shaq talks about like, yeah, I got all of my money and I went and I bought my dad a car. I went to Walmart. I'm the most spending person at Walmart, all this stuff. But the difference is that, you know, Shaq was able to turn around and had good people with him and was able to take that money and invest it in other businesses and become a part of other things than just what he was known for.
Right. But to that end, right? Like, that famous story of what he spent his first check on, the joke of that is he bought him and both of his parents cars, but he didn't realize what tax was. He didn't realize there was taxes to purchases. He thought the sticker price was the price. And he's like, oh, I have enough money for that. And then he immediately was in debt because the cars cost so much more than he realized he did. Like, how often could that happen? I'm sure it happens all the time. It's gonna happen
all the time. You're right. I mean, it does. I mean, statistically, it just has to happen more than it doesn't.
Yeah, but it's like, again, you know,
Rocky?
When we look at Rocky as a character, these movies, as crazy as they've gotten, have really done a good job of each movie. He's at a different point in a fighter's journey.
Right.
He's experienced it all. And I think, you know, one thing I will say about this movie that I did enjoy was it was one of my favorite stories as a story. If I read this as a story and as a script, I'd be like, you know what? Like, this could be a really good movie. The story was compelling. It was complex. There was a lot of moving parts. Like you said, there was a lot of sad parts you felt for Rocky in this situation where it's like, this is the only way I've ever known how to make money, but I can't do that anymore. But I don't want to be homeless. What am I going to do? I have a family now. Like, I have to figure it out. And it's like, you feel for him. The execution just wasn't good. Like,
no, and I think that, to your point, when we're talking about like the journey of Rocky, if this were an event to happen to him, if he were to not be able to fight and is struggling with money and all that stuff, that is almost something that I would expect in Rocky 3. When he loses to Clubber Lang and isn't the champion anymore, I would expect all of his money to go, all of this, that, and the other. But the thing is that we've seen Rocky, like you say, learn and progress in every single movie. So like by Rocky 5, you would think he's better off than this.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. And like, it did kind of poke some holes in like his character progression from the other movies. Because he did kind of have the mentality of like, well, I didn't know, I thought the house was paid off, and it's like, how do you not know that? Like, you've had money for years now. Like, I don't know. But I just feel like even there's just so many moments in this movie where I was like, why was that what you went with? Like,
again, it's because the entire goal was to get Rocky more on that like street level that he was at the beginning. But to get him there was like it's just not logical. And like and so it feels like a forced, manufactured way to get Rocky to be like kind of schlubby again. I don't know. Like, like instead of pampered and all this, it's like, no, let's actually like make him a bum again.
And, I also I didn't like all of the scenes between him and his son. Just like
we haven't even talked about Tommy, by the way, because fuck Tommy gun.
Yeah, as it was scripted, I didn't like a lot of their interactions in this movie, but I do also like the idea of like, he is still the people's champion, he's still popular, and he's like this celebrity, but his home life is down the toilet, and I like that juxtaposition too, of like, he, even as a coach, finally is finding happiness again, but it's at the detriment of like everything at home. And he has this delusion that like, things are going so well now that he's almost caught off guard by everything that's going on at home and how much his actual son hates him throughout this movie. Like, that was one part of the movie that I did like. I just didn't like the acting performances of it. Like, those scenes were so cheesy to me.
No, dude. And that's why I'm saying that they were close, but they weren't right, because Rocky Balboa is the right way to do it.
I agree.
The scenes between Rocky and his son in Rocky Balboa are everything that this movie wishes it was.
Yeah.
And we'll get to Rocky Balboa next week. I'm very excited to talk about that, because, I mean, we talked about our rankings and that we're going to keep them secret, but like going into this series, Trey, Rocky Balboa is my favorite. So like, I'm very much looking forward to watching that one again and being like, am I right?
Yeah.
That this one matters the most. And that's what makes Rocky 5 suck in my head, is like, it's just not Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. And they must know that because they made Rocky Balboa.
Because they came out with Rocky Balboa. I mean, you know what else I was like very interested in talking with you about is that we brought up last week in Rocky 4 how the Rocky movies are almost like all kind of like cool little time capsules of like the decade that they came out in. This is the only one made in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it definitely feels like it. Like, I think that maybe some of the edginess or like grunginess, I don't know, like how many things can I apply from the 90s that like kind of snuck their way into this movie? Where it doesn't age well. Like, it's like, no, this is fine for when it was made, but not forever. And Rocky 5 kind of has that feeling to it, where it's like, I don't know if it was the influence of the decade, of the turning of the 80s to the 90s, the end of the Cold War. Like, there's so many different historical things that could actually be going into play. That's what I feel like Rocky 5 makes me feel like a crazy person, where it's just like, what do I have to consider when I'm thinking about Rocky 5? No, I don't. Rocky Rocky 5 is just objectively the worst movie.
It's the worst one.
in the
like,
franchise.
Spoiler alert of our rankings. I know we have the Creed movies too. So
It's not going to be a surprise.
but it's not going to be very high. And I hope you don't expect it to be, because it's just not good.
I cannot envision myself putting anything lower than Rocky 5.
Me neither. And I knew that going into this series, and I just proved myself right. I'm with you that I've probably rewatched this movie maybe twice before I watched it this time. And I called my dad as soon as I was done watching it, and I was like, I feel the exact same way I felt the last time I watched this movie. I convinced myself that maybe I was too hard on it, and I was not. It was like, It's not good. It's just objectively not good.
It's not even like hopeful or inspiring, because like, I mean, we haven't gotten to this yet, but Trey, this movie ends with the worst fight in the Rocky franchise by far.
By far. Yeah.
I get that, like, maybe choreography wise it's like good or whatever, but I don't even know if I would argue that. But
how
to
does
me,
he know how to throw a kick?
Right.
When does he kick? Like, I was like, the whole time I was like, he wrestles now? Is he shooting takedowns? Like, what is happening here? Thunderlip should have gotten his ass kicked if we're throwing body kicks.
It's so stupid, but like the ending fight in Rocky 5, more than in reminding me of other Rocky fights, what it makes me actually think of is the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Like just getting beat up in an alley. Like I'm like, I cannot believe that the end of the franchise for the time was a bar fight out in the street where he beat the shit out of someone in the middle of the street and everyone cheered for him.
Yeah. Like
that's crazy.
That's crazy. And then he assaults somebody who literally says
right after, you're right, where it's like, I'll sue, and he punches him in the face.
And he says, sue for what? And I'm like, wait, what was that? What are you talking about?
The assault.
That's the execution that I'm talking about. Then I'm like, there's no way they watched that and was like, that's our scene. Like, I'm like, why would you write it that way?
No, I'm like, Rocky, you're the hero of these movies, and you are moving kind of like a scumbag right now. Like, I get that we're back at your hometown Philly bar, but like you would not do that.
That's
in the
not
last
someone
movie.
that Rocky would be proud of, and that's not.
No, I feel like Rocky
now
3, Rocky 4 would have been like, let's take this to the ring, let's make it official, or do something like that. And this Rocky was like, you want to fight?
Yeah,
like
I gotcha. And like, I wasn't sure. You know, I did think like, because he had his moments of he got like the headaches and his symptoms from his brain damage were showing. And I wasn't sure if they were trying to also spin like a CTE. He like can't control his actions and his anger angle of like, this is the same psychological Rocky. But it didn't, I'm stretching to try to make it better than what it was. It didn't come off that way.
No, because anything that I have to say that would improve Rocky 5 is the movie Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, everything that would improve Rocky 5 happened in the next movie. Yeah, it's just that it wasn't at the right time.
The subtitle of
this
Rocky
movie
Balboa
did not need to be made.
No, totally. The subtitle of Rocky Balboa should be what Rocky 5 was meant to be.
Seriously,
that's really what it is.
That's what I walked away from it being, is like, this movie had the potential to be as great as Rocky Balboa, because it had the similar kind of beats, the structure, the thing with his son, the coaching, I mean, Rocky Balboa, he does, and he goes and fights one more time. But I don't know. I just it was that close, and they weren't even close. Not like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you were almost there, but you also, with what was made, was nowhere near the mark.
Well, and all that to say, I'm glad that somebody had that conversation. And we got Rocky Balboa, and I'm really excited to review Rocky Balboa next week.
Brother, I am forever grateful that Rocky Balboa exists, and I am thrilled to be able to review that next time with you. I'm super excited to watch it again. So stupid. I mean, like, it's been a minute since I've watched Rocky Balboa. One of the first things that always comes to my head is that he walks out to High Hopes. High hopes, we've got high hopes, and it's like him coming out to like this like cute song while the other guy comes out to like a hardcore rap song, like whatever, and he comes out to High Hopes. I love that. And so I don't know. I'm thrilled to review Rocky Balboa. It's got one of my favorite lines in movie history. I'm trying to do something special here, Polly. A bunch of Mexicans making Italian food ain't nothing special, Rock, is one of the funniest lines ever written. And I'm like, I haven't watched the movie yet, and I can still pull that out. Ask me how many things I can say off the top of my head from Rocky 5. Fucking nothing.
The only thing I can say off the top of my head from Rocky 5 is when his son is smoking cigarettes on the sidewalk and he comes up to him to talk to him and his son is still mad at him and then he tries to kiss his son's cheek and he like dips away. I'm like, who wrote that? I'm like, why? That kid's like 14 years old. Why? What is that? Like,
no, that disconnect works so much better when his son in Rocky Balboa is like, what, 30?
Right. Yeah.
That disconnect works so much better of like, I wanted to be the best dad for you. Well, you weren't.
Yeah. And I loved the lead up, and I know we're not to the Creeds yet, but I love that they continue that in the Creed movies where he tries again to get in contact with them and he's still like, no, like I've gone to therapy for that. We're done. And that wouldn't have worked if Rocky 5 was the ending. That only works as a storyline because of Rocky Balboa. If he was still holding on
if we keep this conversation going, it will just be
Rocky Balboa
talking about Rocky Balboa.
So I think it's time that we cut it there, my friend. This was a longer one. I said this while Garrett was gone to the bathroom, but I'll say it again. If you made it this far, we appreciate you. We can ramble forever on things that we like to talk about, and this was a fun one for sure. Let us know in the comments what movies you're watching, and if you've seen either of the movies that we saw, Obsession or Toy Story 5, give us your thoughts on those. If you're still up to date with Love Island, USA or UK, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the discourse. There's a lot of good theories and things floating around right now. If you're playing the new Overwatch characters and you got that 10-year charm on your weapon, let Garrett know, because you guys are a rare breed, and I hope that you guys are having as much fun as Garrett is having. And
if any of you exist out there and you try to send me your friend requests, I will say no, because I never play with teams or with my mic on. I'm an old man. I'm there to have fun and goof around. I'm not there to be like, Tracer on my left. I don't care.
I don't care. Oh, and finally, but not last but not least, if you are watching with us on our Rocky series, next week we have Rocky Balboa, and man, it's going to be a good one. We might have to make that our own episode. I don't know, but we'll figure that out.
It might just need to be like its own dedicated episode. Out of all the Rocky movies we've talked about, this is the one that I'm like, I want to talk about it the whole time.
Yeah. So maybe we'll plan for that. And if you guys are into that, tune in next week where we cover Rocky Balboa. As always, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Sugarside podcast. I have been Trey, and that 949BB man in the beautiful green collared shirt has been Garrett. We will catch you on the next one. Stay sweet out there. It's a bitter, bitter world.